Big thanks to Blankaex for providing us with the background video for this Tekken Weekly. What is up, internet coingy here, bringing another episode of Tekken Weekly. This video shouldn't be coming out this late. I've been so busy with stuff at home, like trying to get deadlines sorted, etc, that I've missed out a whole week worth of content. I usually try and edit content during my weekends, but I wasn't even able to do that recently. But for this Tekken Weekly, I'm going to focus on 2 weeks worth of content. Luckily, I was able to go to Insomnia and play Tekken 7, but in comparison to Hype Spotting and the doubling event that was recent, it wasn't the Capo and Bears build, it was the Leon Miguel build, which is pretty outdated by now. But I might make a separate video talking about my experience at Insomnia because it was really fun. So let's begin today's episode with something I found early April. It's no surprise now, wherever you pre-order Tekken 7, you'll get the exclusive stuff for that country / region. And for those of you who didn't know that, well, that's the case. A great example of this is the steelbook designs available for certain countries. Here is the standard default steelbook that most countries will be getting. We've seen this one quite a lot in promotional material, etc. But some of you probably didn't know that France have their own steelbook design that's very much like the Japanese cover art for Tekken 7. Australia also has their own unique design that shows off the new characters for Tekken 7. And the Russian version, which steelbook shows off the climax between Hayachi and Kazuya in a more gritty fashion. Anyhow, Japan has a couple interesting extras you can get depending on where you order the game from in Japan. The ones that are worthy of noting is that Amazon Japan will give an exclusive PlayStation theme, and Wonder Goo will be giving away a Brian USB. Furthermore, if you order your copy of Tekken 7 from the Japanese Bandai Namco Entertainment store, you'll get the taiko drum accessory. This is definitely one of the more interesting items out the bunch, and I hope that this is available for European and American players later on as DLC. If you really want to get that exclusive taiko drum, I will put a link in the description of where you can get it. Some sample shipments of the Brian USB can be found on Twitter, which I will link in the video description. In continuation of things Japanese exclusive, the New Japan Pro Wrestling X Tekken merch may not be sold in Western markets. This gives a high possibility that the DLC as well may not transfer over for the Western version of Tekken 7. So things such as Rainmaker King and the New Japan Pro Wrestling t-shirts you can put on your in-game characters will probably not be available for players in the Western version. Kenny Omega has already stated via Twitter that the physical t-shirt will be exclusive to Japan. Markman, however, is working very hard with the Tekken team to make this not the case. I'll have a link to Markman and Kenny Omega's Twitter posts, but the likelihood is if these t-shirts cannot make it onto Western shelves or buyable off of like a digital Western medium, they probably won't be available in-game. A new video posted by Rukang shows some of the nerfs Eddie has gotten as he transfers from Tag 2 into Tekken 7. The main bulk of it being Eddie's back 1-4 being nerfed. On counter hit, it doesn't give a full combo anymore. Relax 4-3 also staggers on block, allowing for an easier punish. Personally, I'm kinda happy with the nerfs that Eddie has. I for one, like many people, didn't really like his back 1-4 that much. But then some people like my friend would say, oh, you got it on counter hit, you should deserve that. Even though that's somewhat true, it shouldn't do that much damage in the first place. Do you know how pissed off people would be if Jin's back forward 2-3 into his stance 1+2, hit on counter hit, all of that on counter hit? People wouldn't be happy, and I can see why people are pissed off with the Capo's back 1-4. But no more, it doesn't hit on counter hit anymore, so people don't have to be worried. But Eddie hasn't been the only one receiving nerfs. Brian's sway 3 or quarter circle back 3 has also been nerfed. On counter hit now, it utilizes a new property that was added in version D of Fated Retribution. So when they get knocked down, their head is facing to the ground and their legs are facing away from their opponent. Time to roll the clip back of where this was shown with some gameplay of Violet Systems, the new stage.
Now Duke fast answering back with his own throw. Goes to the stopper kick. Big counter hit. Gets the guaranteed stopper kick again.
And there you have it. From sway 3 you can only combo into sway 4. And unlike before, it's not like a full counter hit launch. We've now gotten proper gameplay of the stage Brimstone and Fire. Recent gameplay in a South Korean event shows off the stage. Now, like I usually do, I will not play the full video, but I'll have it linked in the description below. A recent screenshot at Hype Spotting shows the offline game modes that are within Tekken 7. One thing to note is that I previously did say that Ghost Battle would be making a return for Tekken 7, due to a hint mentioning there would be more than one way to raise your offline rank. Turns out instead of Ghost Battle, there's a new game mode called Treasure Battle. From recent hints revealed at Hype Spotting, every couple of wins special matches will occur. Now, we don't know for certain what these special matches or these special conditions would be, but I assume they would be randomly generated and be like, oh, you have infinite tailspins, or the match is now in turbo mode like Mokujin Rush in Tekken Revolution. Seeing how this is one of the main offline modes, I just assume that will probably be one of the main ways to increase your offline rank. But again, the game is not fully out yet, so Ghost Battle could sneak its way in for the final release, but looking at how the list is right now for the offline game modes, I'm not really sure it's gonna find its way in. In the same screenshot below, we can see a VR mode which is only available for the PlayStation 4 version. Now, we already know that the main purpose of the VR mode is to look at our characters up close and personal, which has been stressed by people like Murray in multiple interviews before. However, recent hints at the Korean event and also at Hype Spotting suggest that there's a VR battle mode. This is something they said they weren't going to do, but they're doing it anyway. It'll be interesting to see how the VR battle mode plays out. In the Hype Spotting stream, we also got to see how the button check feature works within Tekken 7. One worthy thing to note as well is that you can also map your rage art to one button. Now, people have said different things about this. Personally, I like the fact that you can map your rage art to one button. In the end, it gives more accessibility to Tekken 7, and the more people playing the game and using the game's mechanics, the better. One final thing to mention, thanks to the hints in Tekken 7, is that there's going to be a difficulty setting for the story mode. There's not really any information on why you can select your difficulty within Tekken 7, but the higher difficulty suggests that you might get better items in comparison to the lower difficulties, or maybe even some rare things for completing the game at a higher difficulty. That's all for this week and last week of Tekken Weekly. If you like the content that was covered in this week's episode of Tekken Weekly, subscribe for more content and I will see you guys next week.